The Power Moves program presents Fine Wine, Coaching Notes for Speakers. I'm Paula Tozer, the creator of the Power Moves program. I'm an author, owner of Express Yourself Coaching, a singer-songwriter and competitive speaker and award-winning mentor with Toastmasters. As an artist, I've been performing in front of audiences for decades, but I didn't have a lot of experience with public speaking. I realized that I had a lot to learn. When I joined Toastmasters in 2018, I jumped into the deep end, so to speak. I joined 2 clubs and began working my Pathways program and writing speeches within the first week. I participated in every meeting, especially in table topics, and entered every speech contest that was available. In my first year, I placed second in my division for the International Speech Contest. And I had the honor of representing my division at our district conference in the humorous speech contest. In my second year, I placed second in the district level at the International Speech Contest. And in my third year, I stepped into the role of area director. This was a new opportunity to learn and develop as a leader as well as a speaker. And this year, I had the honor of being selected as the recipient of the Darlene Dunn Outstanding Mentor Award for D45. I love coaching Toastmasters and sharing the resources that I've compiled, tips and coaching advice shared with me by accomplished, experienced speakers. Through in-depth observation of video performances by accomplished competitors and other speakers, as well as through online coaching sessions by such accomplished speakers as Darren LaCroix, Lance Miller, and accredited speakers Joe Grondin and Cheryl Roach. So what I'm about to share with you are my personal speaking notes, as well as tips on how I view the mindset of a great speaker. I share these with the participants in my Power Moves Mapping Your Path coaching program for Toastmasters. As a coach and competitive speaker, my personal Toastmasters journey is a work in progress. I am truly standing on the shoulders of giants in our organization, and I'm grateful for the support of every one of the men and women who have mapped this path before me. Now, this is how I've learned to view speech writing and delivery. I offer these to you, and I hope they serve you in some manner as you continue your Toastmasters journey. Always lead with your power moves. Now, the 3 essential power moves are as follows. Number 1, just say, okay, I'll do it. Your yes to your personal growth, your personal development, and your exponential success begins with your willingness to stand up and participate. Number 2, break those barriers. Take a deep breath and step into the challenge of public speaking. The barriers to your success will show themselves, and courage is required if you want to triumph. You keep in mind that you're not alone in your Toastmasters journey. Your VP Education is there to help you and provide you with a mentor, and your club is there to support you. Number 3, reach out and take the hand that's extended to you, first in collaboration, and second, in congratulations for a job well done. As Toastmasters, we love to celebrate excellence. In fact, excellence is one of our core values, right? So the first aspect of creating a memorable presentation is, of course, drafting your speech. Study the elements of great speech writing. Begin with the information and tutorial provided in the icebreaker level of your pathway. Then write your draft. Just let the words flow. Don't be concerned about how long your speech is in this round. Explain your ideas and complete your thoughts on paper or on your computer, whichever works best for you. There will be time to summarize and condense your message after the draft is complete. Consider your topic and the theme of your speech. Craft an impactful, compelling opening statement. Make it thought-provoking and attention-grabbing. Make them curious, feeling playful, and anticipating an adventure with you. Address the chair within 45 seconds of beginning to speak. 60 seconds tops. Now you could use something like Mr. or Madame Chair, fellow Toastmasters and guests, or whatever way that you choose. Always utilize the power of 3. It works very well. 3 points, 3 elements that may be unrelated, but tie into your theme at the end. Always work very well. Remember to include personal stories. Write from what you know. Have some short stories from your experience ready in your repertoire. Also, consider the message of your stories. They must be easily relatable to your audience. Remember to be clear in the story's meaning. The wording shouldn't interrupt your audience's attention stream, so they have to consider what a word or concept means. Don't make your listeners work for it. Be clear. Count your I's and we's in your speech. It's logical that in order to have your speech be a we show and bring your audience in and not a me show, which is all about you, there should be less I's. However, your icebreaker is generally going to be about you, so you would naturally be using I. Set the energy of your speech prior to its delivery. So is it a serious topic, casual, humorous, informative, instructional, motivational? Is it storytelling, a commentary? Then you know how to present it with what kind of energy you need. Now, your title shouldn't give away your content. Your audience will already be forming opinions on what you're going to say as soon as they hear your speech's title. So it's best to leave them guessing. Content should flow one idea to the other in a logical manner. So use clear, simple language and imagery. The next one, develop your ability. Gather your resources. There are many great resources on our Toastmasters International website and in our magazine, and there may be resources on your district website as well. So read articles and books. Take online seminars and workshops. Study recorded speeches by exceptional Toastmasters, there's a lot of them online, or other professional speakers. TED Talks are also a very good resource. Ask a person whose speeches you admire to help you with a particular speech or even to be your mentor. And this one, my friends, is vital. Rehearse, rehearse, rehearse. Refine your delivery while considering the elements in a formal evaluation as well, the ones that you would utilize when evaluating others. And this is also an effective self-study tool. Record your speech, audio only as well as video. Watching yourself as you speak is a great way to gain a comfort level with speaking. The next aspect is become fearless. How do you do that? Well, I consider the 4 F's, fearless, faith, focus, and fortitude, as being the keys to success. And as I've presented here, when you practice doing something you fear, you begin to fear it less and less. Yes, practice makes fearless. So develop your speaking style. What works best for your personality? Are you naturally enthusiastic or serious or humorous? Consider what your audience responds to and then work your magic. Create a ritual for speaking comfort. If you're speaking in the virtual environment, how do you like your area to be set up? Play with your camera placement and your reference notes placement until it feels really good to you. If you're speaking to a live audience, consider how you would like to have your speech printed. Will there be areas that are highlighted? Where you have your notes placed on the podium, or if you will use cue cards for reference, is also great to consider. Part of your ritual should be to place your notes on the podium and step away from the podium so you don't use them as a security blanket. Been there, done that. Once you have your ritual, you will feel more comfortable presenting. Familiarity decreases anxiety. Now, I suggest memorizing your content or being very familiar with how it flows from one section to the next. And even if you have your speech memorized, you can still have your notes for reference if you choose to do so, but most times you won't have to refer to them. Now remember to keep the 5 P's in mind. Proper planning prevents poor performance. Always be prepared. Welcome distractions. So this is a way when you can work it when you are rehearsing. And this will be an additional training for any actual speaking event, because people will move around and they may even begin talking to one another or get up when you're speaking. Noise can interrupt. Technology can fail. Cats can jump on you, especially at home, and dogs can bark. Been there, done that. Develop sensory attunement. Dial into focus with laser intensity so you don't have those squirrel moments of distraction that make you forget where you are and your place on the speech. One of the key elements to a great performance is knowing how to deal with distractions. The next aspect, speak for maximum impact. Remember, this is your time. For that 5 to 7 minutes, you own the stage. You have 5 to 7 to deliver an influential, memorable speech. So consider carefully what gets you excited. Take time to choose your topic and stories carefully. What inspires you will inspire your audience, even if they aren't familiar with your topic. Then visualize your best performance. Go over your gestures and blocking. That's what actors use to know where their position is on the stage. Your energy, and practice your eye contact in your mind as well as in real time. Use a mirror, or you can record yourself on video. Now, if you're speaking at your club's physical location, get to the venue early. Or if you're speaking on Zoom, arrive 15 to 20 minutes prior to the beginning of the meeting. This way you can practice and make sure that your audio and your video is working properly. Either way, when delivering a speech, it's good to be there before the room, real or virtual, fills up. Now, I've learned this from playing with my band. There is something about getting comfortable with the space and allowing the energetic component to build up gradually as people arrive. Remember, it's better to greet them than to have them greet you. So you're creating physical presence and psychological connection. And remember to bring it. Be memorable. When it's your turn to speak, give your speech, the message, and your audience your full energy. The audience knows when you make it about them and not about you. Draw your audience in to the point that you and your listeners become one shared thought. You're sharing the air. Share your thoughts as well. Be so impressive. They have no choice but to remember you. The next aspect, know your subject, your content, and your audience. For the 5 to 7 minutes that you're giving your speech, you, my friend, are the expert. Own your topic. For those minutes, it's not about your anxiety, your discomfort, your self-consciousness. Speak to reach your audience. As accredited speaker, Joe Grandin writes in his book of the same name. Make sure you leave your audience with an inspiring thought and a clear call to action. Leave them wanting more. The next aspect, timeless flow. I really like this proverb. Be sure to taste your words before you spit them out. Anticipate and welcome epic. Each time I speak, I've made a habit to create an internal vision of triumph for myself. Each speech is an epic adventure in which I always learn something and always gain from the experience. Because remember, you may not give a flawless performance every time, but if you learn from the experience, you win every time. Begin by creating moments or pockets of wow. Wow standing for words of wisdom. Weave your stories into the fabric of your speech so it becomes something colored beautiful for your audience. Some of the most memorable, enthralling, and engaging speeches leave the timer forgetting to time and the counter forgetting to count. Work on creating content so compelling that time stands still. Consider each second as the second, as all there is. Utilize heightened awareness. Utilize each section of the speech. Make it well organized, rehearsed, and ordered, with your words specifically chosen for maximum flow and impact. Each second is carefully considered as it flows elegantly into the next. Tactical sliding. Use the minimum amount of slides for maximum impact. So too many slides are hard to time properly and can be confusing for your audience, especially if there's a lot of pictures. They may seem logical to you, but consider that your audience may not understand why you chose a particular image, and they may be left wondering what it meant. And more slides, the greater the chance that your audience could become confused. So be selective with the images you present. If in doubt, toss it out. If there are too many words, the audience will be reading the graphic and you'll lose their attention. Also, images can do the same thing. And this is one that I call the hijack trap. Don't allow your images to hijack your words. Really dramatic images will steal your audience's attention and decrease the impact of your words, and may actually turn your audience off. It just depends on the image. And remember that busy slides can be confusing and will commandeer your audience's attention. Another very important factor, leave space for laughter. If your picture's funny, make sure that you allow a few seconds for laughter, otherwise you're wasting that space. And regardless of how many slides you have and how well your speech is crafted, rehearse, rehearse, rehearse. Consider it this way. If you are not well rehearsed, you will be selling yourself short and your audience short with an unprepared presentation that looks thrown together. Regardless of the brilliance of your content, the audience will take away that it was substandard. Think about this. Lack of preparation may be interpreted as lack of confidence. We don't want either one of those. Don't detract from the quality of your work and devalue your effort by not being adequately rehearsed. If you're not ready to present one week, schedule your speech for the next meeting instead, and use the extra time to polish your delivery. Now remember the commercial that advised, never let them see you sweat. If you wish to look way more confident than you feel, practice your delivery. Remember, practice makes fearless. The next aspect is on strategic gestures. Thoughtful, purposeful movement adds to a truly great speech. Think economy of movement. Repetitive hand gestures are distracting, even if your message is compelling. As speakers, we often use too much motion to emphasize a point, especially if we are passionate about the point. Record your speech and turn off the audio. Consider every gesture. Now, this is not to be discouraged. It probably won't look pretty, especially not at first. I really disliked watching myself on video for a long time, and I was so critical of myself that I was easily distracted by my own movements. But with practice, it got easier and easier to remain objective. Now, this exercise is valuable for 3 reasons. For camera comfort, you'll become more comfortable watching yourself on camera, and you'll learn to accept yourself, quirks and all. You'll learn to develop body awareness, so you'll know where you are on the stage at all times. Awareness of unconscious patterns and gestures will come up as well. So nervous movements like adjusting your shirt, or putting your hands in your pockets, or smoothing your hair, or body postures like sitting or standing slouched over, or maybe even lopsided, or an unflattering facial expression, or even lack of expression. Many people forget to smile, or they may overdramatize. So these are things that you will make note of, and then you can correct them. The next one, developing muscle memory. Like any performer, you will develop muscle memory for the movements that flatter and enhance your presentation. Watching yourself on video allows you to work on correcting the patterns that detract from your presentation and work on muscle memory for when you're giving speeches to an audience. They become automatic. And you can practice your gaze. And this is important in the virtual world. This, when you connect with a steady, confident, playful eye gaze, and you don't have a serial killer stare, it will help you to look so confident. This will also help you to learn to look into your camera, as well as find the best place for your script and notes. Now, I found that it's better to print large and sit back from your camera, so checking your notes isn't so obvious. And in the virtual world, I sometimes utilize a text holder or even suspend my notes from the ceiling. And I sometimes also use a makeshift teleprompter using PowerPoint for presenting online. And this one is very important to show your confidence. My fellow Toastmasters, stand. One of the most valuable strategic gestures you will ever utilize online is to stand when you're speaking. And this is vital for maximum influence. And as I see it, if you are sitting when you're competing, that's the kiss of death. So practice standing up. And fine wine. Now we get to the fine elements. Select and savor your words like you would a fine wine. Consider it like a sommelier would savor a fine wine. This means additional focus on pronunciation, diction, and clarity. And this is particularly important if English is not your first language. Know your words. Now, if English isn't your first language, there may be challenges that would not arise in casual conversation, but will create obstacles to communication when presenting a speech or an info session. It's wise to be aware of these challenges and work to address them beforehand. The first one could be diction. Now, diction is the choice and use of words and phrases in speech or writing. Be deliberate in your vocabulary choices and the style of expression in your speech. Consider synonyms for the words you choose and make the best possible choice. Understand the meaning of the words you use and the context in which they are properly used. Using them in the wrong context can be so glaring that it changes the way your whole speech is viewed. Focus on pronunciation and enunciation. Pronunciation is the act of properly clustering each group of letters to make the correct sounds. Enunciation is the act of clearly speaking in order to allow someone to understand. You can mumble a word and pronounce it correctly, but you are not enunciating it. Now, many of us stumble over or mispronounce certain words. For example, specific, especially, nuclear, or when using alliteration. For example, Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Mispronunciation of a word will distract your audience. Ask a mentor or Google the pronunciation of a word in order to say it properly. And practice is the remedy for this challenge. Now, also practice good grammar. Understand the components of good grammar by reviewing them often. Written and spoken language must correlate. Now, this one is important as well. Consider your rhythm and breath. Focus on speaking slowly and deliberately while paying attention to pacing and the melodic rhythm of your language of choice. I suggest rehearsing your speech super slowly and savoring every word. Don't be concerned about the timing in these sessions. It's about pacing, clarity, and breath work. Now we'll talk a little bit about second language mastery. Once you've determined that you wish to pursue a public speaking or a professional presentation avenue in that language, it becomes important to hone your skills as much as possible. It's not about creating a generic version of you or becoming self-conscious about any accent that you may have. We all have an accent. Trained linguists can pick out differences from county to county, not just country to country. Your accent will add beauty and flavor to your speeches that will make you memorable. Think of it as crafting a presentation style that offers you the most influenceability and makes the greatest impact on your audience. So then the message is clear. Celebrate and love your accent. The next one, consider the feedback of your audience. Now, you will receive a formal evaluation. This is one of the spectacular benefits of the Toastmasters experience. Use this as valuable information on which to grow. Now, you also will get written comments from people in your club. Utilize these comments as general feedback, but don't necessarily apply all of it. Now, most people can offer you opinion in the form of an overall impression, but the actual mechanics should come from a reliable source, a mentor or guide whom you admire for either their experience or for their achievements as a speaker, or for both. And if you are confused or struggling to understand whether or not to apply certain evaluation elements, seek the assistance of your VP Education, your mentor, or a guide. And remember, This is your Toastmasters experience. So always lead with your power moves. So to recap the 3 power moves, number 1, just say, okay, I'll do it. Number 2, take a breath and break those barriers. Number 3, reach out and take that hand that is extended in collaboration, and congratulations for a job well done. You can work at your own pace and receive exponential rewards for your efforts. Your VP Education is ready to assist you and to find you a mentor or guide. Your club is there to support and encourage your growth as a speaker and as a leader. We all want you to succeed because together we are stronger. And keep in mind that your words are valuable, like an elegant fine wine. They're meant to be savored by you and by your audience. So if you have further questions or comments, please feel free to contact me at pauladtozer@gmail.com. And I'm Paula Tozer. Until next time, much success to you. And we'll see you on stage.